Michael Vanen. Well met, everyone. Today I want to talk about Chapter 2, the Mines of Moria Raid, and cover specifically two topics on this. Hopefully, it's a short video, but I want to cover the importance of using burn, bleed, and poison in this chapter, as well as the importance and timing of using the slow ability on your characters. Now, with this chapter, I think you can basically squeeze some extra points out of your lower teams by being able to punch up using some of these things to great effect. So I find mainly with this chapter, you run into three different situations. The first is that you can get through both topples pretty easily. You have enough damage, in which case you might want to try moving up a difficulty, and then some of these things will hopefully help for you. The second is that you find the first topple easy, but the second topple hard. And then the third situation you often find yourself in is you just can't get to or through the first topple. So I just want to highlight the importance of a couple things in terms of abilities. So I want to use this is my free to play account that I'm going to showcase here. And I just want to note that with this count, I think I mentioned this in a previous video, I still have a lot of work to do on glyphs. I'm not as invested in this account at this point, so I'm not really doing a whole lot with the glyphs. I kind of put some things on early on and just haven't really taken the time to go back through and manage them. Some of it's just the interface, and some of it's just interest on my part. Yet, regardless of the glyph sets used themselves, I think you can still perform very well in this chapter. So, if you're not 100% understanding the meta that people use on glyphs, whether it's last stand of bloodlust or full bloodlust or whatever, that you can still basically still do very well as long as you understand some things that really help you succeed in this chapter. So for this team here, having noted that, my Ugluk and Strider are pretty well built, but the other tunes on this team don't have a lot in terms of abilities. So Dunhar is mostly 3 and maybe a 4 here and there. Same with Mauer and Gruher. Dunhar is here just provide a little bit of healing, but mainly there for the bleed. Mauer is there to provide the slow, and then Gruher can do the expose that can help further damage. So really with this, landing those. So right here, you're going to see, if you pay attention to the health bar at the top on the troll, so he just goes down so quickly. The more that you land these burns and bleeds, and I'm going to talk about focus here in a second, so you can see there with that stack how far he went down. I'm going to put a link in the description to a video done by Quantum, who covers this chapter, I think, in a little more detail. But in particular, he put out a really nice graphic that I want to bring up. And so you can find that through his video, that graphic. What is really helpful is understanding the amount of focus that you need on your glyph, regardless of the set, to land those bleeds, the poisons, the burn, and also the slow. And so I just want to say thanks to that content creator, because I know I need to figure out those values myself at some point, and he's done a lot of work in doing that already. I followed this, and it definitely, I believe, is accurate. So I just want to mention that. So being able to land those will get you to a topple. Now, once you're at a topple, so you'll see here, I save Mauher's slow. I want to use it when the troll is down. And anytime that troll is down, it is very essential to land a slow, because that will free up you to kill the ads, to take the troll all the way down to 0 before he stands up. And then additionally, that allows you time to refresh all your abilities so that you have them up again for the next phase where you need to bring them all the way down again. So that's really the key to this chapter, is landing that slow while he's toppled. Now, really want to talk about this in terms of punching up. So this team is pretty much on par. It's around 56,000 power, weak on abilities, but it's still scored. I think I do around 770 on this run. And so here's you'll see the focus here. I'm using armor pierce and then the focus. And then with Dunhar, it's on par as well. So around that 2800 mark that Quantum recommends, and that I have found myself. So usually the best way to get that is through the primary, or ranking up the primary slot on your glyph, and then also this flat 4 and 6 can have the focus primary. So yeah, so that's I think really hopeful. I hope for most people understanding just how much damage that does. So I want to talk about this specifically in terms of being able to punch up with your teams. So I'm going to show you a run here that I did with my dwarves. So this dwarf team, right, is ranking out at 26 and some change in power. I'm doing difficulty 3, which is rated as 64,000 power. Obviously there's a lot of you know is that how accurate is that? But you can definitely tell that this team is punching way up than it should be. Okay, and so for the most part, all of these guys have 4 or less on abilities. I think I might have the special 2 on Ballin at 5, but other than that, very light because this isn't a team I'm heavily invested in. But you're gonna see that being able to land a bleed, especially from Keely. Now, I think Keely is amazing in this chapter. You know, Feely and Keely are great in chapter 1 and 2. 3 and 4, it's less important, but being able to assist in chapter 1 and together is nice. And then in this chapter, Keely's bleed is just phenomenal. So I'm gonna go ahead and try and skip through to where Keely's bleed is here. So he does this 4-stack bleed, right? And you'll see basically the troll is nearly at full health, and it just decimates it. I landed again in a little bit, and it takes him nearly all the way there. So that's just how important. And then expose is really nice to have as well, which comes from Feely on this. Yeah, so there's that second 4-stack. um, so this team, which should be doing difficulty 3, is able to get into should be doing difficulty 2, is able to punch up into difficulty 3 just based on that bleed, and then luckily landing the expose here and there as well. So again, the focus need to do that is quite high. I actually am nowhere near that on the focus on at this time on these dwarves. So I did get quite lucky in landing that bleed. I just want to be very clear on that. But I'm hoping to get that guy up just a little more, just to land a little more consistently, and then also being able to get Biffer through a slow here, which he does not land in this particular video. But once I can make sure I have enough slow on Biffer to drop a slow when the troll's down and bleed Keely through. Again, this is a difficulty 2 team that probably around 30,000 power should be able to at least get through the first topple on difficulty 3. And again, that being able to do a through a topple and get the troll all the way down is more points than doing it at a lower difficulty level. So you would rather, like in this case, take this team and do just one topple through on difficulty 3 than try and get all the way through on difficulty 2, because you'll end up with more than 300,000 points just doing it this way. So I hope that was informational and short, just to give you a couple ideas about how to really work chapter 2 to get yourself some of those extra Gandalf shards. So thank you for watching, everyone. I'll catch you later.